scientist, if you're a fan of macro and nature photography, you'll love today's guest, Tibor Molnar. As a wildlife photographer, he's traveled to all kinds of places in search of rare animals, and he has a remarkable ability to make them look even more incredible than they do in real life. That kind of result takes patience, skill, and probably a little luck too. With more than 220,000 followers captivated by his stunning images, Tibor uses his camera not just to showcase nature, but to inspire people to appreciate and protect it. He's also one of the featured instructors at the Photo Mentorship, where he teaches students how to capture the wild with purpose and passion. Ladies and gentlemen, we give you Tibor. Enjoy these images.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Lenscast. This episode, we're joined by one of my absolute all-time favourite macro and wildlife photographers. A real honour to have Tibor Molnar with us tonight, showing off some of his wildlife, macro, herping, mammals, wildlife in general. It's an absolute honour to have you here, Tibor, and thanks very much for joining us.
Pleasure's all mine.
I'm obviously David Hamilton, new to Lenscast, better known as Wee Mad Beasties. I'm a macro photographer from Scotland, but that's enough about me. Over to the main man of the night, Tibor. How we doing?
Good. How are you? How's everything?
Not bad. It's fantastic to see you. What's been happening?
Nothing. Just trip planning as usual.
You've been in how many countries this year?
7. It'll be 12 by the end of August. Actually, end of September. Yeah.
Incredible.
Actually, since April. So yeah.
Where's next then for you?
What's that?
Where is next for you?
Next is Africa. I work for a photography school. I teach photography, mostly macro and wildlife as well. To students of all ages. It's more secondary students. So like older people that kind of want to take up photography, but we have people of all ages. And I agreed to since I do a lot of photography tours, I agreed to put one together for them for Tanzania, and it just kind of evolved, so to say, and I just kept adding up to it. So I'm going a little early. I'm scouting Kenya I've already been, but I'm scouting it for Black Panther and some other stuff with my good friend Mar, who David also knows and is a fantastic photographer. And then we're meeting 50 photographers in Tanzania, so it's quite an ambitious group. Normally, I wouldn't do a group that size, but this is a very close-knit kind of online community, and we do large cruises and workshops as well. And then I'm taking a select few of them to Uganda with me for the gorillas, chimpanzees, and some other wildlife. And then I have my own clients coming again for Uganda and Tanzania. So I'll be there for 5 weeks, and I'm really looking forward to it. I haven't been in well over 15 years, and I'll be going back with a lot more knowledge and a lot more oomph than I did last time for photography. So I've been looking up everything, so I don't know if I'll be sleeping because we'll be looking for insects, mammals, everything, you name it, birds. Yeah.
Just insects. That's all you need.
There's a couple that I'm actually really looking forward to. I'm gonna try to bribe some of the locals to find some stuff for me. Yeah.
Fantastic. So obviously tonight we're going to look at some of your phenomenal images. Personally, I've chosen the macro images. I've been away on numerous macro trips with yourself, and you were one of my favourites from the very start. I think that was roughly about 5-6 years ago we started speaking, and
a long time ago.
I've continued to be. I just wish you would post more macro.
I'll post some macro tonight.
So, Paul, I think it's probably a good time to start looking at some of Tibor's images.
Lads, is that really a butterfly?
No.
David and I have an inside joke because this is a cuckoo wasp, and the story behind this one's actually pretty interesting because I rarely see them here locally. And I've seen him maybe 3 times in 5-6 years, and David sees a bunch of them in the UK. So every time he posts, I stopped commenting on his posts, and I told him I'm just going to ignore them and just call him. And I started calling them butterflies. So it's kind of an inside joke because he sees them so often. I believe this one. I don't know if this is one of 2 times where a good friend of mine, Mar, called me from the park and said he found one. And I literally dropped everything. I jumped in the car. It's about half an hour away, and I drove there. This might be the one. I don't think this is the one at night, but this is one of them. I actually was doing a live for students, like a Q&A, and I got the text from him, and he told me where in the park, and the park's not supposed to be open at night, but I put on my headlamp and I snuck in, and I actually found the bush he was talking about. He described it perfectly and found this individual. And these guys are minute. They're tiny. I think this is about 90 images. The unique part about this and why I love it is they never have their antennas out. They're always folded in and they're sleeping. And I was able to get directly front on him just perfectly. And it's an ideal shot, but I mean, these things are pinhead small. They're super tiny. This is at full magnification.
Smaller than, like, if I hold my fingers out here. Smaller than.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. If you, it would easily fit on your pinky nail. And I have smaller hands, but like it would easily fit on your pinky nail. They're really, really tiny. So they're smaller than an average fly for sure.
Good grief.
Yeah. Yeah, but they're definitely tiny. I don't know like the millimeter size, but only 3 or 4 millimeters maybe.
Probably about a centimeter. And the reason, Tibor,
at the most, yeah.
The reason I chose this is I've seen one in Scotland, most of them in England, but always active during the day, and it's generally single shots, and that's after hours of chasing them about. So to be able to stack it from the front, and it just be perfect it's 1 in a million. It's a great butterfly shot.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite, only because it's local. And again, it was one of those things where it was definitely an unexpected. It was 1 or 2 nights when Mark called me and said, I got one. I think this one actually he might have been walking with this one on a leaf through the park, holding it for me. And I raced there, and I got there, and we kind of set it up. We use kind of like little helping hands, little clamps to kind of hold it still. And it settled in. It settled in really nice on there. It just went right to sleep right on the thing that he was holding, and it just really cooperated. And again, like David said, to get these guys to cooperate during the day is impossible. So because it was dusk and it was nighttime, it was, again, that's why he kind of just settled in, and I got extremely lucky. But most of the shots you'll see, the antennas will always be tucked in. I don't know why this one had him out, but I just really liked the way it had it. And obviously the the mouth parts and even the wing in the background in the shadow. You can kind of see the way it's kind of curled up and sleeping, and the symmetry on it came out beautifully. Yeah. The metallic colors on them is why they're so sought after in macro. They're just beautiful subjects, absolutely stunning subjects.
Have you stuck like a piece of pink card behind it, or is that
this one? Yes, this one. Yeah, I do sometimes carry cards with me. A lot of times I like to use natural stuff. Usually leaves and things will work better. But I happen to have color cards with me, and the pink kind of worked a little bit better. I did. It was a lot brighter. I did, since the pink you can isolate it. I did pull down the luminosity and the saturation a little bit on the pink to kind of give it, not to take away from the subject as much. But I felt like it was a pretty complementary color, so I definitely put that back there. Normally, I would like to use more natural colors and that things found in nature, but sometimes it works. Yeah, it works pretty nice.
Fantastic.
That's excellent.
Yeah, real beautiful.
Definitely one of my favourites of yours.
Appreciate it. Buddy.
Let's have a look at the next one.
Coming from the butterfly expert, yeah. Oh yeah, these I love these guys. Maybe next time, David.
Yeah.
This is the time of year to come for them, David. Because David's visited at my local park for the actual tiger beetles, but now it's not tiger beetle season. This is the spiny microthenas. And the interesting thing about these guys is they'll be in the web. They're really tough to photograph in the web. It's always upside down and backwards because that's the way that they're top heavy. So the way to get this shot, and for anybody that's listening or anybody that sees them and has a struggle with them, if you can get them on a tree facing down at you, their backside, their abdomen will lift up naturally, and it'll be a lot easier for them to stand. And a lot of times they'll settle in. If you're lucky, they'll pause, and you could just shoot straight up a tree. And that's the way I shot this one, is straight up a tree. So this isn't necessarily straight on. He's on a tree facing down at me, and that's why you get the abdomen up.
Yeah, you could have told me that in Ecuador.
I'm pretty sure I did. We didn't have these in Ecuador, but yeah, I was showing you guys some of those tricks in Ecuador. I was helping out with some of the geckos and some of the spiders with some of the things I've learned. But yeah, this one took me years. And again, all these shots take years of just, trial and error and seeing them over and over again. And I had one in a web that I got pretty nicely, but this one was just phenomenal. It paused perfectly, the symmetry on it. I got one the year before. It was a similar technique, but this one was just, it's a stunning individual. And it just, she lined up perfectly for me. And I think this is also about like 70 or 80 shots probably. They're pretty tiny. Yeah.
Yeah.
How big are these guys?
They're a little bit bigger. You can see them, but they're still, about
couple of centimeters.
Yeah. Not even a couple of centimeters, maybe a centimeter and a half.
Yeah.
Some of them are smaller, some of them are larger. We did find a nice one, in fact, last weekend, but that one was not cooperating. I didn't even get a chance to shoot that one. Yeah.
How much time do you actually spend kind of studying the subjects? That's a stupid question.
It depends. It depends on the subject. No, it's a really good question. I had a tour in Ecuador a few weeks ago, and one of the guys there was just like, man, like I forgot how he put it, but it was really funny. He said, man, when you know what you want, like you're dead, like you just nonstop. And sometimes I'll spend an hour and a half, 90 minutes chasing something. Whether I'll get something in my mind that I want to do. I've been super fortunate because I get a lot of opportunities. So for me, it's a lot about finding the unique things, and when I'm bringing people on tour, I try not to shoot. I definitely try not to shoot most of the time. But if there's something unique, I'll go last and I'll do it. But a lot of times I'll help them get their shot, and then I'll ask them, I'll say, hey, look, let me set it up the way that I think it's going to look really good. And then usually we stick around, and some of them will go off, shoot something else, or they'll stay with me and I'll handle it or do what we need to kind of get the angle right. And a lot of times it comes out good, especially with reptiles and snakes and stuff too. A lot of times if you can, it depends on the individual. It all, even inverts, they're all different. It'll take some time. Sometimes with this one, I'm pretty sure I got lucky and it was pretty quick. But there's times I was, there's a longhorn beetle I know that I spent at least an hour and a half on, if not longer, in the middle of the night. everybody had already gone to sleep, and there was a moth sheet up in Ecuador, and I was there for easy 90 minutes with one subject. I think I was out till about 3 or 4 in the morning, and I photographed 4 things. So it's, well, if they're active because of the light, it's a whole different story. If you find them sleeping, that's just easy. That's just easy game. There's insects, and that's a great reason to go out at night. There's insects that we find. I think David and I, when we were in Ecuador, like the Brazilian wandering spiders, they were super easy, right? They just stood there, like it was, during the day, you're not getting that shot, but at night they just stood there.
Yeah.
So it was, what's that?
I ran away when it moved.
Well, yeah, you guys. Well, yeah, it's one of the most venomous spiders in the world. But yeah, I mean, yeah, but it was they're great, So sometimes it is really luck, but if it's something that I really am looking for sure, I'll spend the time with it. And again, even with inverts, it all depends. If I'm stressing the animal, we've walked away more times than not. There's times when we just got to be like, well, this is not going to work, and we're not going to be able to get the shot.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
So,
What's an invert?
Oh, invertebrate. So like insects and spiders and everything. Yes. Sorry.
I thought it meant something upside down. And
well, yes, that too. Yeah.
Like that beetle.
Yeah, it's true. Yes. Yeah, it could be inverted as well. But yeah,
are you using a tripod?
Is our slang term, I think, in macro.
Okay.
No, never a tripod. Tripod's only for long lenses. Yeah. You need to have too much maneuverability to use a tripod.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You kind of wedge yourself up against the tree. In fact, this shot's a lot easier because you could wedge yourself against the tree to not move. It's more difficult when you're freehand holding on a leaf that's moving and trying to do it. That's, David's nodding his head. He knows that too well. And if it's windy, forget about it.
So you're not using the tripod when you're stacking then?
No, this is all tripods. I don't use any tripods when stacking. I'm either laying down, leaning against something, wedging myself against something, or repositioning. I've never used a tripod when stacking.
What's
your go-to lens on Tibor for macro?
Sorry?
For the most part, for these guys, the real like ultra macro like these, I'm using the OM system like David does, and I'm using the 90 millimeter, which is a 2x. And on crop sensor, it gives you an extra kind of magnification as well.
Okay,
and honestly, the focus bracketing in there is just phenomenally makes things a lot easier, because if you can get yourself still, you just have to concentrate on being still. It used to be when I used to use my Nikon and manually stack, that was a lot more difficult because I would have to move the camera. I still kind of like doing that. I'm actually reverting to my full frame a little bit on some shots. I've kind of fallen in love with that as well. But when I have a really good small insect and I'm just, I'm ready to stack it, it is nothing beats the OM system and doing it this way. I mean, the results are just incredible.
Tibor, I have a question here. You mentioned we're talking about tripods there. And I'm a bit not knowledgeable when it comes to macro photography, but would you say you never use a tripod at all in macro, or is there anything you do use a tripod at all?
So I never do. There are use cases for them. If you have a really good like monopod and a good gimbal head, and is something that you have to kind of like if it's in a web and you want to kind of like freehand hold it, you can use it there. I've kicked around that idea. It just doesn't work for me. It's worked for other people. It just does not work for me.
Yeah, there's a lot of skill involved with regards to the being stable and trying to keep it in focus. I know.
Yeah, I tell. Yeah, so the students, when I'm teaching macro, a lot of times I'll tell them is like, walk, don't run. You got to start walking. So if you can get 2 to like 5 images stackable, to start, that's fantastic. And a lot of times you don't need more. This one's a good example. This one's not as flat as it looks. So I needed the images to get the pointy parts in the back. If I just got the face, it'd be an issue. But if you kind of make the settings a little bit wider, where like I stack at the lowest interval rate, so it moves very slowly or back. But if you kind of expand that a little bit, you can get 5 to like 6 shots and probably get a decent stack of this if it's not moving, and still get it. Like the details are going to, like if you're really like pixel peeping, the details aren't going to be there, but you'll still be able to get that depth. And that's what I tell people is like, listen, a lot of times you can, David's a great example, and I'm just, only because I know David so well, but he's like the single master. Like he takes singles and and I won't ever compliment him to his face, but behind his back, I always say nice things. No, it is, people have always said, like, the biggest compliment to me that I've heard people say about his work is that I can't tell half the time if he's got a single or a stack. And I was like, you know what? That's really true.
That's impressive.
He likes to jump between the 60 millimeter, which gives you a little bit of extra depth, and that's a fantastic lens. And in fact, I'm bringing that with me to Africa because I'm going to start incorporating it more. I tend not to do singles anymore. I just, like I said, I kind of pick my subjects. If it's something very, very special, I'll do singles for that. But a lot of times I really like this portrait kind of thing, and that's what I kind of go for.
The image of the spikes in their thing is so sharp looking. It just stands right out, and the shallow depth of field as well in the image is really beautiful.
Yeah. So the key too is, and I tell people this, is that if you're stacking, only stack the parts that you need. And this one, I wanted the last two spikes in the back, but if you don't need them, you need to have some shallow depth. If I fully stack this and you see everything in the back in focus, it looks like a flat image. A lot of people make that mistake. Like if I'm doing a portrait, if you look at any of my portraits, you'll see the portrait, the eyes, and maybe part of the head. But once it gets to the back piece, if you start getting the back piece in focus, for me personally, I always feel that it kind of gives it a little bit less. It kind of flattens the image. A little bit of depth is natural to the eye, and that's why I like doing images the way that I do that.
It distracts the from the image, doesn't it? I see what you mean.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's really shot.
But on this one, like the back, you need the back, right? Like, I don't know. I love this image.
Yeah.
It hasn't done well in contests, but I mean, this is one of my favorite images, I think, of all time. Just because I was able to line it up really well. It was a really pretty individual. It didn't have any damage on it. Honestly, there was no cleaning involved, really. It was, David knows these insects can get really dirty, and I will clean them, because I want the dramatic effect. Mm-hmm. So I don't make any, I don't kind of, try to deceive anybody. I tell them if there's distractions in it, like lint or something, I will take it out, because my work is basically art. But obviously, if I'm submitting to like a natural, like the natural histories, nature photographer of the year, like you can't remove distractions, I won't do it. But for contests that allow it, I definitely do. It just makes it a lot better instead of having like a piece of fuzz on his head or something that kind of distracts from it.
Right.
For sure.
Fantastic. Well, what would you say, Tibor, CVR, just before we move on to your next image, which isn't macro, if you are taking the 60mm with you, upgrade to the Kodak's 480 flash, game changer.
Oh yeah,
absolute game changer.
Really?
Game changer.
I got to hear this. I mean, I got 4 Godox flashes right now, and they're all working. So maybe when one dies or whatever, but yeah, I'll reach out to Godox, see if they want to help me out.
There's a couple of macro shots coming up next, guys, and then we've got like something different at the end. I won't reveal that till we bring it up. Just let me know when you're ready, David.
Yeah, move on to the next one then. That would be fantastic.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, this one.
Wow.
So this is a bolus spider. It's a female. I don't know if I had the accompanying shots, but it was guarding a really weird egg sac, and this one's a decent size one. It's about a thumbnail size. I've seen this once in the local park. That's the other thing too, is you can go to a local park and go there every day or every weekend. And even Mar, who is there literally every day, has only seen this once, maybe twice. And we lucked out. We were with a couple of other macro buddies and just kind of came across it. And it was resting. A lot of times they're kind of in different positions. But I mean, the craziest looking head on this thing. And it's just, again, like normally I wouldn't want the back in focus that much, but I kind of like that portion of it. And as you can see, like there's a lot of fall off that gets to the top of it and kind of gets it that way. So we, it was kind of like it has egg sac on there too. She was kind of like staring there. And then I even went back at night. So what these guys do is they'll fish for prey at night. They'll put pheromones on kind of like a little sticky thing on a web, and they'll kind of spin it like a little fishing line. And a moth will come by and they'll snag the moth. And I really wanted to get a photo of it. So again, I snuck back into the park at night, and it just wasn't fishing. But I got this shot during the day. But yeah, this one's that's what's so great about it. These are local. This isn't anywhere like, crazy in the world. This is my local, all three of these were my local park. And that's what made me fall in love with macro. And I think that's the same thing that drew David in and draws a lot of people in. Our local park right now, I think the first time I was there, I was walking around with a homemade diffuser that I made, and I started getting questions, and that's how I met my buddy Mar. And now any given day, I'll see like 10 or 12 other people with macro gear and macro diffusers made by Cygnus Tech or AK, and they'll be walking around with those and taking photos and posting in our local. We have a really strong local Facebook group for that park, and man, it is just inundated with macro shots of insects, and it's fun to see that. It's definitely fun to see that.
Yeah, that's a great image.
I'll get one person in my
Do we have these guys in the UK? These
bolus? I don't think you have bolus in the UK.
Don't have. No. No, unfortunately, we've got a lot less species.
A little bit.
Just a little.
Just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit. I mean, so I don't know if so David actually came to visit me in DC, and his goal was to see our tiger beetles, our green tiger beetles, and I was like, yeah, you're coming at the right time. I know a spot, and lucky for him, I spent years finding this one spot and knowing where they sleep. And we got there in the morning, and it was the first. I have video of him. It was the first piece of bark we lifted off of a downed tree, and there was two sleeping under there, and he got his shot within like 5 minutes of being at the park. It was the insanity of it. But it took me years of chasing them. It took me years of, and then we found a spot randomly deep in the woods where they were always around during the day, and I was like, they got to be sleeping somewhere. And I figured out that all these down trees, they all like underneath the bark, and you can just kind of gently lift the bark, take photos of them, and put the bark back down, don't destroy their habitat, and they're there. Mm-hmm. And it's just the easiest front stack you will ever get. I mean, it's common. And David's laughing because like I've seen David like chase subjects. We've all done it, like chase subjects, especially like I chased a stalk-eyed fly, I think for like half an hour, 45 minutes, and I got nothing in Malaysia and in Costa Rica, where, just trying to get singles of it was impossible. So when you find a subject that's just literally just sitting there, and a good one to boot. Yeah. It's a gem for sure.
Right.
Fantastic.
And lift a bit of bark in this country, or you'll get his wood lice.
That's it. Where we get yellow.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a look at your next. And there we go, tiger beetle right away.
Okay, yeah. So this one's a funny story too. This was Ecuador, and I was desperately trying to find a spot to find these when David and the other guys were in Ecuador, but we didn't have any sandy spots. I had originally gotten out of a canoe to go look for something, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw something that distinctly looked like a tiger beetle. And now, if you ask anybody, they'll know. Like, tiger beetles are my thing. Like, I absolutely love tiger beetles. I got a half a dozen new ones that are coming out that I got. So I kind of collect them. They're just fascinating. And out of the corner of my eye, I could see they run a certain way. So I grabbed it, I looked at it, I was like, oh my God, it's colorful, it's beautiful. All right, it's on the sand. We're coming back at night. So last night, Mara and I were there. We actually put aside 90 minutes of time to just go down to the beach area where we had to actually watch for caimans, but it was more lit, so it wasn't too bad. Thinking we're going to be chasing these things around. We got there, it was covered with them. And not only them, but this one's a different one. This one's a rather large one. It's about almost like a full knuckle size on a finger. And they just stood there. I mean, it was another thing where during the day they're active, but at night, even under the light, they just kind of stood there. Like, I just kind of got in front of it, knelt down in the soft sand, and with the sand, you can adjust your camera even better. There's nothing blocking it, so you could kind of push it down too if you need to get a better right-on shot, and boom, right straight on.
It's
really easy stack. Yeah,
it's amazing the detail in the sand on top of the beetle itself. It's amazing you look at the detail in it.
So the interesting part of this is that I photographed this one. I photographed another tiger beetle there. They're called mole crickets. They're the weirdest looking thing ever. I don't know if I have a photo of it that I gave you, but they're just odd looking things. And when I got home, I usually take a top-down photo as well, especially it's a lot easier for ID, and I kind of like including it now with my shots. And when I took a top-down of this one, it's not in this photo, but a top-down of this one, there was a third species of tiger beetle that I didn't see that was so tiny that it was maybe half the length of his front leg. And it was on that photo, and I completely missed it because it was so small and it was there. But there was a third species of tiger beetle just on this tiny little beach, and they had like a light for the boats to come up. So they were all over there. It was wild. Again, it's, it's always trial and error. It's always just, just finding them and just going to places and figuring out what works and what doesn't. And sometimes you just get really lucky and right place, right time.
Certainly looks amazing.
Do you find with your students, I'm wondering if with your students, do you find that a lot of them underestimate the amount of time that it takes to find something? They think it can be like bang, bang,
A lot of people do. I think the biggest misconception is you go into the jungle in the Amazon, you're just going to find stuff everywhere. And you find like katydids and things, but the real exceptional stuff takes time, like real time. Yep. A great example, and I used this the other day, I was talking to somebody. So I've been to the Napo region and Tina region, which is the Amazon region of Ecuador now 5-6 times, 4 different locations. And I've been looking for one particular katydid that's common. It's a spiny katydid. I've not seen one. And everybody tells me how common it is. I haven't seen one. I've been with some of the best guides. I've been, all the right places, everywhere where they've always seen them, never seen one. That's kind of like one of my Moby Dick white whale things is that, this freaking one spiny katydid, because there's a different version of it on the other side of the Andes. So they co-evolved, convergent, right? Where they evolved looking similar, but they're completely different species. And the one on the Andes side, I see that every trip. But that's on the Western Andes side. But on the Eastern, on the Amazon slope side, I've never seen this thing. It's fantastic looking. It's really, really cool. I can't wait. And eventually I will. I mean, I'll be back again next May. So, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how I can spend more time there because there's a couple of things that I absolutely need to see. And there's things that I see all the time. And it's just stuff that, same thing like local parks. Like I said, there's things that I've seen once.
Yeah, you don't have to go far to get all these magical images where you can actually go to your local park, your backyard sometimes as well. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's just looking, and it's luck. And then a lot of times it's, it's kind of knowing their environment and where to look. A lot of insects have microenvironments that you don't really think about. Like these guys, we never would have seen if we didn't go down to the sandy parts. There's no way. I didn't even see this one during the day. During the day, these guys were everywhere at night. I didn't see them during the day, but when I went down to that one spot, they were everywhere. Same thing. There's a park right down the street from where I live. I just brought my dog down there to go swimming in one of the creeks, and then I clearly saw a tiger beetle I'd never seen before. And I brought my friends down there and said, "Hey, there's a tiger beetle down here, and we got to go look." And we found a beach, and they was crawling with them. Like it looked like sandflies all over the place. And it's just these beautiful, like multicolored, like rainbow colored tiger beetles everywhere. So it all depends. You can get lucky. You can use iNaturalist, but we have a buddy right now in Spain that's looking for stuff using iNaturalist, and he's not finding the things that are there. So it's there's a lot of luck involved too.
What's iNaturalist? What's that?
Oh, sorry, that's iNaturalist is a site. Yeah, iNaturalist is a site that a lot of naturalists and photographers use, and they basically geotag the locations. They find anything from insects to plants to mammals, and they'll other people will help identify them there, and it's kind of like a global repository of locations for like animals and fauna. It's a fantastic resource as well. So if you're going somewhere, you can check that out. If you're looking for an ID, that's a great place to get an ID as well.
iNatural, is that and it's on an app, I guess, is it?
They also have an app as well. Yeah, it's a website. I as in like the letter I and a naturalist. Yeah, it's a very, very popular app with among photographers, especially nature photographers and macro people, for sure.
Okay,
it's a great
I
resource.
like this. So this guy looks like he's looking back at you. It's like He's doing.
Is this you? I mean, it looks like your favourite angle for taking shots of insects.
Yes,
Tibor,
absolutely. Yeah,
It's
I
straight-
love
straight on like
the
that,
portrait. Yeah.
Yeah.
David makes fun of me all the time. He said, but it's honestly my favorite thing. It really does an intimate look at them. I'm seriously considering doing a book of just portraits.
Yeah.
Because you know, I absolutely love doing it, and there's just such a variety of things.
Yeah.
It's
I see
just
why.
insane. Like I go back and look at the stuff that I photographed from like the trips this year too, and especially the insects. And I love it if I can get something straight on, and it just kind of gives them. The biggest compliment I get is, especially from students and people at the park, is telling me like how they're less afraid of insects. They're getting closer to insects or frogs and things that photograph them. And you know, a lot of times I'll work with a jumping spider on a trail, and there'll be people coming by asking questions, and they'll end up holding the jumping spider. They'll never hold a jumping spider before in their lives, and they'll hold one of those. And then I'll see them again at the park, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I saw a wolf spider with babies. It was on the trail, and I didn't want to get him run over, so I kind of scurried it off the trail so it didn't get hurt," and stuff like that. I love hearing. One of my favorite things to do, absolutely love doing it, is I'll find a whip scorpion. I don't know if I gave you a photograph of one. There might be one in here.
We won't be
but
good
they can-
overlaps with through the
Yeah.
well, so okay.
Yeah. It's just this giant, menacing looking, harmless arachnid. And what I do is that they're really tough to corral because they're super fast. But once you get them like corralled, they kind of calm down. You can put them on your hand and you just hand them to somebody.
Nope.
And it's like, it's something people say no, but as soon as I hand it to them, like it's an experience, my friend. It's an experience. It's, you know, like a lot of times people would be like, "Oh my God, I never thought I would do this." And then they'll start calling up their arm and you get a picture of it with, like on their head.
Sounds even worse.
It's just, it's the
I'll stick
experience.
to our woodlouse. Yeah. Nope.
There you go. Any more questions on this one before we move to the next one?
Yes, quick question on this one. I set up a tent on a beach in East Lothian in southern Scotland, and in the morning, full of beasties. Are those beasties related to this? Would you think?
It could be.
Uh-huh.
There are beaches in England and Scotland and UK that have tiger beetles. I just don't know what area you're in and have to see what they look like.
Over that
Okay.
area, you do the common green tiger beetle, which is actually my logo on Instagram.
Okay.
It's also David's logo. Yeah, the tiger beetle.
Yeah.
That's probably why we became friends.
For eye reference,
sure.
this is in Gullen in East Lothian, so Gullen Beach, full of. I think these guys. You guys.
Okay.
It's possible. They'll be a little bit different color, but it's very possible. They have them at the beaches there for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, on to the next one.
Okay, thanks. And it's different.
Oh,
We've gone
yeah.
to wildlife, guys.
Wow.
Well,
Wow.
That's a
That's
cracking
me.
one.
Yeah, this was incredible. So there's a really, really nice hotel that's only about 15 minutes from the airport in Quito in Ecuador. And I love using it because it's just got a lot of grounds on it and like a lot of area where we can still go shooting, but it's comfortable for people to arrive. And man, just so happened, again, right place, right time. You know, one of my clients found an active nest of these, not peregrines. What do you call them? Slipping my mind. All right. Well, I'll get back to it, but found basically an active nest of them. And it was 3 chicks in there and it was just a perfect angle. And I mean, I could just walk over and literally put my hand up and practically touch the nest. And the parents were coming and feeding them. And the only way you can get in-flight shots or something coming in is if you listen for the chicks. And when they call out, the parents come flying in. There's no way you're going to be able to see the parents and get it. And this is where you use a tripod. You set up the focus and then you hit the button when you hear them squawking and you'll get maybe 3 frames of them flying in. And this one is just clear as day. I just really love the expression on the chick and the parent, and then the dragonfly, you can clearly see it. We had a beetle. I missed a shot with a scorpion. That would have been really cool. And I also have a shot of one of the parents ripping apart a sparrow with like feathers flying and stuff in this thing. But this is just a great example of, you know, you never know what you're going to find. And our tour technically didn't even start. This is just where everybody arrives, So, yeah, I mean, it's just a fun shot, and
it's the
lucky where the nest was. Yeah, you don't really see them like that open. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a shutter speed as well in it, because it's on fast shutter speed. And that's very difficult.
Oh yeah, this is either 4,000 or 5,000 for sure. Usually, I don't think we have the names, but if you have the names of the files, they're usually the settings. I put them in the names of the files as well.
And is this on your Nikon?
Yes, this was on a Nikon Z9 and my 400 2.8. That was an investment, but
Great
but
camera.
honestly, yeah. I mean, it was one of those things where I knew people usually ask me about it because it's very costly. I planned that purchase for about 3 years, knowing what the roadmap was for Nikon, and it opened incredible doors for me. It opened my doors for me for the photography school I work with and all these photo tours and everything. And it was probably the best investment. It was the scariest investment because it was, it's more than my car basically. It really opened the door for me. And, I loved it and I knew I was going to use it. And I call it my second passport. It's basically brought me all over the world.
Yeah.
But but this was just a beautiful moment. I've got a ton of these photos, but different insects coming in different angles and some serious like flight shots as well. But this is one of my favorite ones for sure.
Yeah, I love this one. And I like how you can cross from doing intimate macro shots to fast shutter speeds, action wildlife. There's a huge, there's a huge bit of ground you follow in photography. You cover photography, sorry. So I do think that's a really cool shot, especially when you see the younger bird getting fed by the adult. It's a good shot.
Yeah, there's a couple of handoff shots too, and the details on it are just what is just incredible for me. Just again, this is very lucky. The nest was in a very accessible location, in a great spot. It was, I've been back multiple times. It hasn't been active since. I think it's because they have cats there. In fact, we chased the cat off when we were there at one point, and then the grounds keep people there actually came and put up a net around the bottom of the tree.
Yeah.
But I don't think the parents were gonna use it again. So yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible. I haven't even noticed the dragonfly.
there's one with a beetle. There's a bunch, man. It's detailed, dude. It's really detailed.
I unfortunately usually skip past the bird shots.
Yeah, I know.
No, that's incredible.
Thank you.
We had another incredible bird shot, I am sure, to show.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And Doug, I think you wanted to talk about it, didn't you?
Yeah, this one.
So this one,
2 parts the size of your thumbnail, presumably, is it? So.
Yeah, these are two macaws. So this is a fantastic comeback story. So since I've been going to Costa Rica, I've seen the populations explode. So because Costa Rica has done so much for their environmental tourism and natural tourism, these parrots are back. They're all over the place. That said, it's difficult to find them, but the last time I wasn't there this year, but the year before, in 2025, when I was there, we did find, I think, 4 or 5 nests, which is incredible. And these parents were just circling, and this is one of those shots where I didn't think much of it. I was just like, let me get them in flight. And they kind of lined up really nice. And I like the way it shows the color. It's a different angle, and it's one of my favorite kind of shots. And again, this kind of proves the point, like you never know what you're going to get, right? And you kind of just keep shooting and try different angles and kind of look at them later, because I wouldn't have never tried for this shot. This was just, they were flying by and I was going to get something, and let me try it. And the colors are just, even with, it was a kind of a dull, like a grayish background, a little bit of blue. So it was a bright sun, it just kind of makes them stick out, and just really, really just came out really nice. I just like that it shows off its colors, because that's where most of their colors are on their back.
It's an absolutely fantastic shot. Has that been cropped to kind of centralize them, or did you just
for sure. Maybe about a 50% crop, maybe even a little bit more. Yeah, these guys were pretty far away. We actually pulled over at the side of a road, and they were facing us on a branch, and they kind of came off into kind of like a circle around. And then we started attracting other people, and there was other cars stopping, and all of a sudden there was a crowd there. But yeah, Yeah, it was, this one's a decent crop for sure.
Right.
I think, yeah, if I remember correctly, it's at least 50%. So it's quite a decent crop on it.
Sure. And I think you've got lots of other shots which are kind of bits of blue sky with no birds in at all and stuff like that. You take on continuous bursts, presumably, so it's...
Oh yeah, this is probably one of about, I shoot at 20 frames a second. So we're talking, if I shot it for 5 or 6 seconds, right, you're talking about 120 shots. If I laid on the button for that long. It all depends. I'm in the camp, especially with nature photography, and I tell this to people all the time. The biggest mistake I see people doing, like people new to photography, is they'll take like 2 or 3 shots and they'll look down at their camera. And I'm like, if you exposed it correctly 2 minutes ago and nothing's changed, you don't need to look at it. Other than if you think your focus is messed up, keep shooting. Because once you put your head down, you're going to miss something. So burst it, and then you never know. And with birds especially, I can't stress this enough. So I don't know what your audience, looks for, but if they're looking for tips, one is do burst speed, because the wing flaps, even on the slower birds, is going to be so different between different shots. You need to take at least, let's say, 20 or 40 shots, and then you'll find the right wing pattern. So like this whole sequence for this shot, this is probably one shot out of that sequence where I liked it where the wings were. So in other words, a lot of the wings were either up or down, or they weren't, synchronized or whatnot. So that's why you want to take multiple shots, and it's digital. You can delete it. I can't imagine doing this with film for sure. I mean, I came at the right time for sure.
Yeah, I feel like
film would wind up fast enough to stop.
Film. Oh my God, film. Yeah.
Yeah, the only idea of switching over to macro to wildlife, because we're looking to cover all aspects of photography on this channel, and I know you have students, etc. there, Tibor, and you teach a lot of people. So your knowledge is power to people that are watching this.
Listen. One of the biggest takeaways for me that I got out of it, got out of photography that I didn't expect, is the people aspect of it and teaching. And I get just as much of a kick out of students that I see excel at it, or people that I've helped. I have numerous conversations still saved in Instagram of people starting out asking me questions, and now they're either, have huge accounts larger than mine, or, are traveling the world taking photos. And same thing with the Photog school. I made so many friends that way, but there are some people that are just have embraced things and have done like macro, and I've seen them do amazing things. And that I think gives me fulfillment as much as getting any good shot.
Absolutely.
I know it sounds kind of cheesy and all, but it really is truth. Especially, and Ecuador is one of those trips, those tours that I do every year, because I don't want to say it's easy, but I know the spots, and everything's close. So you can do 2 or 3 locations a day. And just this week, in fact, yesterday, one of my clients from June posted in the photography school. She happens to be in that one. I think it was about 50 images of hummingbirds and birds and just all these incredible shots. And somebody's like, wow, that was a great trip. She's like, yeah, this was one day. I just got through one day of photos. and it made me chuckle, because they're all really good shots. And, once you there isn't any like really big secrets. You get them to the right spot. You kind of get them comfortable with the settings, and it can all fall into place as long as you some people just need a little bit of extra guidance. But once they kind of have that comfort level and kind of understand it, it's all basically repetitive practice. I don't think about moving any type of settings anymore on my camera. I don't say I'm like shutter speed or whatever. I am literally just flipping knobs when I'm doing it. Everything is fully manual. I don't have anything specifically programmed a specific way. But I will flip through the ISO or the shutter speed as fast as I can when I need it. And it becomes second nature to you once you understand it's really only 3 things you really need to worry about. Macro, it's even easier. Macro, it's really just the flash power. You home in on the, once you have the diffuser set up. That's another big wow factor, is when people come with me on macro trips and they never had a diffuser before. I never worry, because I just hand them a diffuser, or they buy one before, they set it up. We go out, the first shot they take, they're like, oh my God. A gentleman with me, I had been talking to him on Instagram for about 2 years. He finally came on a tour with me this June as well to Ecuador. Went out our first macro walk, and he said, I only have the macro lens for their Sony 90 macro lens. And they told me I can't take pictures of insects with it. I'm like, who told you that? And the first thing we found, one of the first things he photographed was a snake. It came out really good. He loved it. terrified of snakes, but he still took a picture, got a really good picture. But then he also, we found a horsehead grasshopper, and I know David loves those too. It's just this crazy cool looking stick insect looking thing. And he took one shot, and he's like, because he had seen mine, and he's like, I want that shot, but I know I don't have like an Olympus. Like, you don't need one. And I got him to do the maximum magnification with his Sony. He took one shot. He's just like, holy cow. Because he looked down. It's this weird aha moment. You look down, you see like, oh, and then all of a sudden forget it. And then it's game on. Yeah. Then it's like they're off and running. They're just taking shots of everything, and they kind of feel comfortable. And that's a really cool part of it. And then seeing, and then all of a sudden everybody posting and tagging afterwards. And you're like, I don't know, like my brain, like there's a lot of things I don't remember, but I can see a photograph. I can see a photograph that somebody with me took, and I could tell you where it was, what we did, and who it was with. So it's really fun when you start getting tagged with. I don't know how long that will last. The more I do these, there's a lot of photographs, but I could usually tell who took it, where we were, and what we were doing. It's great. Just reliving everything again. Yeah, definitely blessed.
Great. Yeah, David, we want to move on to taking the pictures off and go back live onto the screen again.
Just before you go.
All right, yeah, sure, sorry.
The picture of the birds reminds me, because someone WhatsApped me a picture yesterday. I won't try and share my screen because I'll probably mess it up. I'll read it. It looks real to me, what I'm looking at. And I'll read the text. It says, photographer Martin LeMay was walking through a London park with his wife, hoping to show her a green woodpecker for the first time, when he snapped this incredible photo of a weasel riding a flying woodpecker. And
yes,
there is
that's real.
Have you seen? Is that real?
That's real. That's a real shot. That's a real shot. That's a real shot.
Martin LeMay. It's a yes.
Yeah. If it's a shot that you're talking about that I'm thinking of, yes, it's real. It was a weasel basically murdering a woodpecker, but the woodpecker flew off with it on his neck. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah. That makes more sense. But in the picture, it looks like, yeah.
Yeah, it just didn't get a chance to murder it yet, and the woodpecker took off. Yeah. I don't know. I think the story goes. I think he said that he didn't know what happened. Like it kind of took off. Like went somewhere where he couldn't find it. But I would be interested to see if the woodpecker got away or the weasel fell off or what happened. But yeah, that is an absolute real photo.
It's one of those. The weasel just kept trying to murder it at 20,000 feet.
Yeah, I mean they could both. I mean, there's plenty of accounts where people find prey and predator both dead, from whatever they were engaging in. So it's not unusual. Mm-hmm. It's nature for you. Nature can be brutal, but beautiful.
A woodpecker go up to 20,000 feet.
Well, no, I think
that was me just pulling a number out of the air.
Yeah.
Well, thanks very much, Tibor, for giving us a run through and a bit of insight into your photography, your macro, your wildlife, your birding, and all the settings you use, and all those fantastic trips that you have planned and have done in the past. Anyone looking to check out Tibor's vast amount of work on Instagram, he's at Tibor Molnar.
Tibor Molnar.
Tibor Molnar. There's only one.
The other one's taken, believe it or not. I'm the only one. I'm the.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, that's just a very small snippet of Tibor's work. Some phenomenal pictures on there. That is a mixture of everything. It's not just macro. He's got everything on there. Cannot thank you enough, Tibor, for coming on. Been an absolutely fantastic.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
And appreciate you guys having me.
That's been a pleasure.
Absolute pleasure. Yes.
Fantastic.
Honored to have you.
Yeah. Any questions or anything, you know where to hit me up too. I'm always available. David knows I always answer questions. So
certainly does.
Awesome.
For sure.
Brilliant.
Well, it was a pleasure meeting all of you.
That's much appreciated.
Thank you very much. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Have a great night, gentlemen.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.